update here on the New Zealand dollar and what we could potentially see this afternoon when the employment news comes out. Now, I made a video about an hour ago, and I was saying that my guess is that we would see the New Zealand dollar weaken and potentially see pairs like the Euro Kiwi here go back up. And I still think that's a good possibility, just based on the patterns here. Again, this is the Euro versus the Kiwi. That this is potentially what we're in here is a wave 4, and that will go up for wave 5. Now, on this particular pair, if you go drill down a little bit on this downtrend, we go down to like the, maybe the 2-hour chart. That's probably a little bit long. Maybe around a 4-hour or 3-hour chart. I can see this going down again, though. So it's not exactly clear. But the one I wanted to point out is the Kiwi Canadian. So on the Kiwi Canadian, you can see I had this move labeled right here. Now I have it labeled as an ABC, So move up, and then an ABC correction, and then the uptrend continues. So of course that would be completely opposite of what I just said. And you can see here again we had this A, impulsive A down. We had this expanding triangle in the wave B position, and then we had this move down coming out of the triangle, and go down a little bit on the time frame. So let's measure this right here. So the A is, between 180, 190 pips, something like that. And then the C is at 160 or so, 160. And so, but you can see what's happening now. It's coming back up now, and is now actually crossed back above the lower trend line of the triangle, right? It's now back above there again. So it came down, came up. So the question what leads me to kind of question this a little bit is this an ABC? And then we're going to continue to see this thing go up. Or is this, is this the start of a new downtrend? So we'll see. But I wanted to give this alternate perspective because what this could be is, say, this is a wave 1, and then we have a 2. Then we have the beginning of wave 3, as opposed to this being an ABC, right? The alternate would be this is a 1, this is the 2, the triangle was the 2, and this is just the very beginning of the 3, the 4, and the 5 haven't happened yet. Okay, so as opposed to this being to an ABC and then up, this could be a 1, 2, the beginning of 3, and then this is kind of the wave 2 of 3. Right, so this is the beginning of wave 3. This is wave 1, the first wave of the larger wave 3 down. Then it's correcting up, and then it'll roll over and go down significantly. So this is the kind of the question I have, and this particular pattern on this pair leads me to question a little bit the theory on the last video that the Kiwi was going to turn down. Okay, so. Excuse me. On the rest of the Kiwi pairs, it's not really as clear to me here on some of these other pairs. You can see the Kiwi yen is very strong, but some of this is being driven by weakness in the yen. But again, is this a 1, 2, 3, and this is a big 4, and then we'll roll over for 5, or is this the end of a correction? And it's going to continue back up. So, and then the one that I thought was really leaning towards being just a correction to a downtrend was on the Kiwi dollar, that this is a wave 4 in progress right now, and then at some point it'll roll back over and go down. Now, it could be that we might see some initial strength in the Kiwi, and maybe this will go up a little bit more, and then later on, or later on in the session or tomorrow, we'll see this go back down. So it doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily go straight up or straight down. Either way, at the news. But I did want to just, like I said, point out, especially this Kiwi Canadian is a really interesting chart because of this triangle here that has, showing itself here, and seeing price kind of go back up above this trend line is interesting. Now, if prior to the news coming out, because you see we've broken above it here, assuming that this trend line is drawn the right way, which I think it's fine where it is. If the time the news comes out, this looks like it's running out of steam, then I wouldn't be surprised at that point to see this thing turn over and go down. This is an interesting pattern, right? So I just wanted to throw that out there as an alternate view that potentially we could see this thing go up. And again, on the euro versus the Kiwi, on a shorter time frame, it does look like this potentially wants to go down again, right? That this could be a larger ABC pattern. So in other words, this could be an ABC, and then it will eventually go back up, meaning the Kiwi will weaken. But we could potentially see this continue down a little bit more before that happens. So I'm going to wait and see. I don't plan on getting into a trade ahead of this news. I'm going to wait and see because it's a little unclear to me. So my gut instinct is that longer term, the Kiwi probably will continue down. But we could see some short-term strengthening based on what this looks like. However, if the numbers come out really strong, then that could send the Kiwi really, really flying. From a fundamental standpoint, again, so the market is expecting the unemployment rate to come in at 4.2% with a range between 4.1 and 4.4. They're expecting the actual employment change to be 0.3 with a range of minus 0.1 to plus 0.5. So, of course, we need to see both of these come in either above or below expectation for the highest conviction trade. And you see right here, if the unemployment rate comes in at 4.4, especially above, which would be the high end of this unemployment rate range, right? Then that would be the highest unemployment since second quarter of 2018 and cause the market to question the strength of the New Zealand's labor market and see an increase in rate cut expectations. As the market is currently priced out any rate cuts this year, this would arguably provide the highest conviction trade opportunity. Of course, a positive report would support the Kiwi. However, since the no rate cut has already been priced into the market, a positive report is not likely to see as much of a reaction as a negative report. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about in terms of what the patterns look like, guys. That if the news comes out positive for the Kiwi, you might see some initial strengthening, but it might be short-lived. And which, in this pattern, this would confirm maybe the completion of a wave 2 up and then rolls over for 3. And then on something like the Euro Kiwi, you can see this maybe go down a little bit, complete this correction, and then go back up. Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see kind of like a moderate report, like it comes in line with expectations. So it's not really great, it's not really bad. And so the market doesn't really know what to do, and then initially it strengthens the Kiwi, and then later on they kind of revisit it and sell it off. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that kind of thing, which is, of course, not the best thing for trading because it's going to cause a lot of confusion and potential whipsawing in price, especially the time of day it comes out. So let's keep an eye on what these numbers actually do, but I just wanted to bring you that kind of alternate view. And again, I'm still mostly bearish on the Kiwi in the long run, but depending how this news comes out, we could see some short-term strengthening. I'm not saying I would use that as a selling opportunity. It depends how strong the news is. I mean, if on this pair this thing rallies up and comes up and takes out these highs right here, then obviously it's all bets are off. It's going to keep going up. But if we just see it, spike up, if we put a Fibonacci on this move down, We're sitting just below the 50% retracement. We can see the price spike up, maybe go to the 61 or the 78, anywhere in this area here. As long as it doesn't come up and take out this high, then that's potentially still could be a selling opportunity. So that's what I'm saying, guys. Be prepared for potentially some initial strengthening of the New Zealand dollar, and then later on have it weaken again. Especially if this news comes in, inside of these expected ranges, right? If it comes in, around that 0.3, 4.2, or inside of the ranges that we're talking about here, right? So if it comes in between 4.1 and 4.4 on the unemployment rate, and if the employment change comes in between, especially, if it comes in around negative, that's not good. But if it comes in around 0.3, between, like, say, 0.2, 0.4, somewhere in there, then I would expect potentially a little strength in the Kiwi, and then, after that, who knows? So, all right, so just want to throw that out there because, that's why sometimes you have to be, flexible on this, and also to understand what the market is expecting is really important. So that's why I wanted to show you this. This is what the market is expecting from a fundamental standpoint. And then you take this, what the market is expecting, and then you go to your charts and you look at the patterns and say, okay, how does that expectation translate into the price action that we're looking at here, and what possibly could happen. And that's how I'm seeing it now, that the market expectation is probably a better market move if the news is negative versus positive. But if it does come in positive, as long as it's not super positive, that still could be a selling opportunity. The market will strengthen, come up a little bit more, run out of steam, and then roll over and go down. And again, on this Kiwi Canadian, to me, is the most interesting of all the Kiwi pairs because of this triangle, this whole thing right here, this down, up, down, and now back up a little bit. Is this an ABC and then we're going to continue up, or is this the beginning of a new downtrend and this is just a correction to this next leg down? So it remains to be seen. We got about 2 hours and 45 minutes till that news comes out. So we'll see what happens. All right, so I'll leave it there, guys. Thanks again. Please leave your comments, questions down below, and hope to talk to everybody soon. Thanks.